The Jake Young transfer saga is still continuing and it simply has to stop, and it has to stop by the end of this week. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 100 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts on as well down in the comment section down below. What do you think Bradford City should do with Jake Young? Should we cash in and sell him at this transfer window, or should we keep him and play him throughout this season? Now I guess this kind of goes all the way back to last summer, basically since the time that Jake Young probably actually signed for Bradford City. When he first signed, obviously under Mike Hughes in that playoff season when we eventually lost out to Carlisle in the semi-final stage, but we signed him from Forest Green on a 3-year deal with the option of a further season. He started out quite well, scored a couple of goals. Mike Hughes and Jake Young then seemed to have a bit of a falling out. In January he was sent out on loan to Barrow, where he didn't really pull up many trees. Last season was forced to train and play the games with the academy, and then was obviously sent out on loan to Swindon. Had an unbelievable first half of the campaign, 16 goals, 4 or 5 assists in something like that. We recalled him in January, obviously a different manager then. Graham Alexander was looking to give him a chance. I think he got 1 start and 2 or 3 substitute appearances, tore his hamstring and was out for the season. We came back into this pre-season, we thought this was finally going to be the year where we see Jake Young play regularly for Bradford City and score a lot of goals for the Bantams, but it's simply not worked out like that. Out of the 3 games Bradford City have played so far, he was an unused substitute in the first league match against MK Dons. He played 15 minutes off the bench against Grimsby in the Carabao Cup first round, and he didn't even make the bench against Salford on Saturday. I think that is very telling. We're going to talk about that in today's video, and what is Jake Young's future really. We'll go back to the 7th of August, where this Insider Chicken account, who is normally quite reliable, tweeted saying, Graham Alexander expected Young to be part of our squad throughout the season, as is the case with most League 2 clubs. However, if a good enough bid comes in, we wouldn't turn it down. That being said, I was told not to expect any outgoings unless Kevin McDonald or Verdane Oliver find potential suitors. I'm sure that might have potentially changed by now with the amount of players that we do have, and I guess you could say, well, that's pretty obvious to say. But after that, we obviously knew about the interest from 2 League 1 clubs, that being Stevenage and Crawley. Insider Chicken also tweeted saying, as things stand, Stevenage have bid for Jake Young. However, he's unsure whether he's going or not due to talks between the 2 clubs that's still ongoing. Despite wanting to stay, he obviously wants guaranteed game time, which other clubs can offer. The other club in for him is Crawley. They are still in talks with us and haven't submitted a formal bid just yet. However, they have conveniently left the number 9 shirt free. Fairly certain they will have eyes on a few to replace Danilo Orsi. And then we go back to yesterday when Insider Chicken again tweeted saying that Jake Young was willing to stay and fight for his place. He went to the hierarchy and wanted an improved deal with only a year left on his current one, obviously plus the option of a further season. He got told no. Obviously frustrated, at club then go and sign a striker on loan, which limits his game time even more. Add to this interest from higher leagues with offers of increased salary and more guaranteed minutes. It's clear where the issue is, as always with this club. Young will not be a City player at the end of this transfer window, and I guess you could always say, well, these insider accounts don't really know what they're talking about, but Insider Chicken has got a fair amount right, so I'd like to say that he is usually quite reliable. But again, we go back to this club's policy of not wanting to give out new and improved contracts until their current deal is about to expire. How many good players have we lost on free transfers? We go to Paudie O'Connor, Elliot Watt, Charles Vernham, even last season with Matty Platt. There's some big players that we've lost for very small compensation fees, or just completely lost them on free transfers, and it's probably going to happen again with Jake Young. We'll get a very nominal fee in for him, and we probably won't see that money be reinvested. That's the problem. It's all well and good selling Jake Young for 200 grand, let's say, but if we sell him, who are we going to get in to replace him? Because we can't get another striker in. We've got 7 at the football club at the moment, so we can't get any more in until Ibbotson, Smith and Oliver all leave the club on loan or permanently respectively. But for some reason we're getting rid of Jake Young, who out of all 7 of our strikers has scored the most goals in recent years in senior football. It's absolutely baffling. I mean, today Simon Parker put out an update on the Jake Young transfer saga. It was behind a paywall, so I've obviously had to do the quick aeroplane trick, but the article reads, Graham Alexander insisted his hand wasn't forced with leaving out Jake Young for City's first home game. The striker was absent from the squad in Saturday's goalless draw with Salford. Young had played the final quarter of last week's Carabao Cup defeat at Grimsby and scored in the penalty shootout, but Tyler Smith took his place on the bench at Valley parade, although he did not come on. Young remains the target of transfer speculation, with Crawley still thought to be keen on the striker. Wigan was said to be interested in the 22-year-old as well as Barnsley, but there have been no developments on that front. But with 11 days to go before the August 30 deadline, Alexander Stretty's absence from the weekend team sheet had nothing to do with any external influences. It was just a selection issue for me, said the City boss. He was in the squad on Friday. We always name a larger squad than the matchday one to make sure we're covered. We looked at training, we looked at games, and I judge it every week. I thought the players obviously starting from last week, but also the bench had all showed that they deserved to be involved. I've not been given any more news on Jake. There are clubs constantly talking to his representatives and stuff like that, but that was the case on Tuesday, that was the case last Saturday. It's always ongoing. I just have to look at the players and pick the ones I believe can help us win a game. So the man who scored 16 goals in this division last season can't help us win a game, but Tyler Smith, who misses chance after chance and scored, was it 4 league goals last season, who playing a lot more games as well, may I add, he's going to help us. Really baffling comments. And one final thing I want to touch on about Simon Parker's article is there's been an update on the Alex Gilead situation. We know that it's likely he will be leaving the club, and it sounds like potentially with Carlisle United. He was with Charlie White yesterday, but again, I look at that as they're two very good mates, and it was a Sunday, both their days off, so I don't really look into that too much. But Simon Parker's article surrounding Alex Gilead reads, Alex Gilead was again not involved as City wait to see what he will decide to do next. The midfielder, who has not been named in any squad so far, has turned down one offer from another club. Alexander added, there's nothing new on that. I obviously planned for the game on Friday and got on with that training. I've not heard from Gilly or from anybody else. Meanwhile, Alexander would love to see goal line technology introduced in the lower leagues after the Andy Cook controversy against Salford. I think we did we not have goal line technology against Barrow when Jake Young scored in the 22-23 season? Was it the first away game of the season, 6th of August, something like that? So that was really baffling. I thought it was already in League 2, but it seems to be for only some clubs or certain games. I'm not really too sure. But in terms of Alex Gilead, him saying, I've not heard from Gilly. How can you as a manager not have heard from one of your players? Is Gilead not training with the football club? Or is he being given time off while he decides what he wants to do? Sure, he's going to lose fitness then. We know he's not playing games. What on earth is going on? There's so much speculation and rumours. I mean, what the hell's happened to Sam Stubbs? We've not even seen him. Is he alive anymore? He was an unused substitute against Altrincham in the final pre-season game, and after that, we've not seen a peep from him. But again, we look at our striker options at this moment in time. Tyler Smith needs to go out on loan. He's not good enough to get you promoted, and the fact that he was on the bench over Jake Young at the weekend was criminal. Ollie Sanderson looked okay and he looks promising in his minutes that he got at the weekend, but he's only a short-term fix. If he's only a loan, he is not going to be a long-term replacement for somebody like Jake Young. Callum Kavanagh, I think he's only 21 years of age, something like that, and he's still got a lot to learn. His performances so far this season have been very poor, in all honesty, but we know he can be a goal scorer at this level. Harry Ibbotson, again, first year pro. I think it's unlikely he'll get many senior minutes this season, so I'd like to see him maybe go out on loan at some point to somewhere like a Farsley Celtic. Verden Oliver, we all know, is not good enough. He's probably one of our highest earners, if not the highest earner, and if we can get him out the door, even if it's on loan and they're paying 50% of his wages, we can spend that 50% better elsewhere. We just need to get rid of him one way or another. Andy Cook, very good, will score goals at this level, guarantees you almost 20 goals every season, but he's not exactly like he's 25 years of age anymore. He's 33, 34. Andy Cook is not going to be around forever. We need younger players who are proven to score goals, like Jake Young. Got well into double figures last season in just half a season, and when he plays, he does score goals. Not when he's playing as a wide left in a 4-2-3-1, when he's playing as a striker, when he doesn't have to do all the unnecessary dropping back and trying to defend, because that's not his game. You want Andy Cook to be doing that, so why are we asking Jake Young to do that? They're both strikers, they're just different types of strikers. He's got pace as well, which is something that I think we massively lack in this side. Nobody really has any pace apart from Alex Patterson. Tyreek Wright does, but never really seems to want to use it. Brad Halliday seems to have lost his pace so far this season as well, and Callum Kavanagh hasn't really proven it so far, and pace is something we've massively lacked so far this campaign. So why is Jake Young not getting a chance? It sounds very likely from the comments from Mark Hughes, the comments from Alexander. He's not particularly good in training, but does it really matter how good he is in training if he scores a couple on the weekend? Did Swindon really care about how Jake Young trained when he was bagging 4 in against Crawley last season? No, I don't think so. And I guess you could make the argument, well, he's not done that in the Bradford City shirt, but has he really been given that much of a chance? When he got a handful of games under Mark Hughes, he was scoring goals. He left the football club in that January to go out on loan to Barrow, and he was our 3rd top scorer at the time. time. That tells you everything you need to know. We're far too reliant on Andy Cook to score goals. Our midfield haven't scored enough so far this season. I think we've only scored, is it 2 goals where an actual Bradford City player has scored so far this season? Yes, we're 3 games in, but for a team who's wanting to be promoted, you need to average more than 2 goals every 3 games. Not including the own goal, obviously. I just hope that by the end of this week, wherever Jake Young is, if it's Bradford City, if it's Barnsley, Wigan, Crawley, Stevenage, whoever Jake Young ends up at, it's done by the end of this weekend. If they've not sold him by this Friday, then he's our player. I don't care if there's a week left of the window, then the price goes up, because he is our player, we hold the power. He's still got just under 2 years left on his contract if we include that option for a further season. We need to stop being stubborn, actually play him. If a player is good enough to be playing and probably starting in 2 League One playoff chasing sides in Barnsley and Wigan, if the rumours are to be believed, then why is Jake Young not good enough to make it onto our bench? Who cares if he's a bad trainer? He's a much better player than Tyler Smith. He's a much better player than Verden Oliver. He's obviously more experienced than Harry Ibbotson. He's proven to score more goals than Callum Kavanagh, proven to score more goals at this level than Ollie Sanderson. Only Andy Cook has scored more goals in the last couple of years than Jake Young, who plays for Bradford City. So why is he not getting a chance? Something needs to change, and he deserves to be playing regularly for Bradford City. Unless there's something crazy that we don't know about, like he's had a big fallout with somebody, then it's baffling why we're trying to get rid of a goal-scoring striker when we've struggled to have one for so many years. Think about how frustrating it was when we had the likes of Aaron McLean leading the line, when we had the likes of Jamie Proctor leading the line. Okay players, but nowhere near good enough if you want to be a successful football club, are they? And Aaron McLean, I think calling him okay is very generous as well. I mean, it wasn't too many years ago when we had Clayton Donaldson and Austin Samuels leading the line. So now why are we getting rid of a proven League 2 goal scorer for probably 100 grand? Because this club doesn't really seem to know how to negotiate transfer fees. Although with David Sharp in, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I just hope that there's some sort of an update. I just kind of want this transfer saga to end. There always seems to be news around Jake Young every single day, and it's so frustrating and annoying that we just have no idea what's going on. It seems like the club are trying to pull the wool over our eyes a little bit, in my personal opinion. But I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 100 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well on the Jake Young transfer saga down in the comment section down below. Should he stay? Should he be sold? Let me know your thoughts down below. Go subscribe as well to more SHD for extra Bradford City and general football content. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.